Good day, grade 9s. I'm Mrs. Todd, and today's lesson will be about the birth, life, and death of stars. In this section, we are going out of space to look at how exactly a star is born, the life of a star, as well as the death of a star. So let's start with stars in general. Our Milky Way galaxy, which is the galaxy we are found in, contains billions of stars of different sizes and different ages. A star can be defined as a massive luminous sphere of plasma that's held together by gravity in outer space. This is the definition of what a star is. And our nearest star in our solar system is the Sun. So let's have a look at how a star is born. Stars are born in vast, slowly rotating clouds of cold gas and dust, which are called nebulae. The singular of a nebulae is a nebula. Over time, the clouds will contract and become denser and slowly but surely start to heat up. The clouds will then break up into smaller clumps, and as the clumps get smaller, they begin to flatten out in a disk shape. The center of the clump will eventually contain a star, and the outer disk of gas and dust will eventually form the planets that will be found around the star. As the clumps continue to heat up, a protostar is formed at the center. A protostar is a dense ball of gas that is not yet hot enough to start nuclear reactions. Where the circle is on the diagram over there is an example of a protostar. The mass of a protostar will start increasing and squeezing it further and increases the temperature. If the protostar is massive enough for the temperature to reach around 10 million degrees Celsius, then it becomes hot enough for nuclear reactions to occur. Only then will it be considered a star. A young star will start converting hydrogen to helium via nuclear reactions, and these nuclear reactions in stars produce vast amounts of energy in the form of heat and light, which is radiated into space. Now let's have a look at the life of a star. For most of their lives, stars will change hydrogen to helium, but after billions of years, the nuclear reactions will slow down and the star will cool down slightly to form what is known as a red giant. Our Sun is an example of a red giant, which means it swells up to form what is known as a red giant. Following the red giant phase, the star will eventually become unstable and die. Our Sun is estimated to be around halfway through its life cycle. That's why it's known or can be seen as a medium-sized yellow star that has a lifespan of about 9 billion years. Something to remember when we mention about the colors of stars is that different stars will have different temperatures and colors depending on its size. So a blue star will be the smallest and hottest of the stars, and red will be the biggest and colder of the stars due to its phase in its life cycle. Now let's have a look at the death of a star. So as a star enters the final stages of its life, after it's become a red giant, the star becomes unstable and expands and contracts over and over again. This eventually causes the star's outer layers to detach from the central part of the star, and they gently puff away into space. When the last of the gas in the star's outer layers is blown away, it forms an expanding shell around the core of the star, which is called a planetary nebula. This is a diagram of how a planetary nebula looks, which was captured out in space. These planetary nebulae glow beautifully as they absorb the energy emitted from the hot central star. When this happens, unfortunately, the central star begins to die. Gravity causes the star then to collapse inwards, and the star becomes incredibly dense and compact, about the size of Earth. The star has then become a white dwarf star. White dwarf stars are unfortunately no longer able to produce energy via nuclear reactions, and they radiate their energy into space in the form of heat and light. Now that we've done the birth, life, and death of stars, we'll end with some interesting space facts. Firstly, a supernova is one of the biggest explosions that humans have ever seen. Each blast is an extremely bright, super powerful explosion of a star, and this is what's captured by NASA. A black hole is a place in space where gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space, And this can also happen when stars are dying. So all of this is linked to the birth, life, and death of stars. Just some interesting facts to end off the chapter. Thank you for coming to my lesson, grade 9s. This is the last bit of theory for the grade 9 curriculum.